Hey, it's Soviet Combat Sloth, and today I'm going to show or discuss like some of the guns or items that I've carried in my everyday carry rotation or EDC, like for the last year or two, like and how I've carried them and why I've chose what I've chose. But anyways, I'll get started. I think in 2020, like I had traded a 1911, like a cheap 1911 for this here Glock 22, 40 Smith & Wesson. This is an old Gen 2, 40 caliber, 15 rounds, one in the chamber. Show clear, but she's clear. I tried to carry it was a small compact 1911. I think it was American Tactical, one of the little compacts, like 6+1 capacity. Of course, it could take full-size mags too, but man, that thing was so heavy and the rounds were so limited, like 7 rounds. That doesn't really bother me, but like I had an extended beaver tail and that thing kept stabbing me, and just like the weight of it, I was like, man, it's not for me. Because I've even carried a full-size 1911 when I worked at a pawn shop. And I like the 1911, but I've tried. So I traded that for this. And this is significantly lighter and it holds way more rounds. 15, like I said, 15+1. So I traded for that. And I carried this for, I don't know, I think it was 2020, but I've carried it for a couple of years. You can see when I got it from the guy, like it didn't have so much wear on it, but I've carried it a bunch. Like I said, it was like my EDC for a long time. I carried it in this for a long time too, the Bianchi. Actually, it's a DeSantis, my bad. But the DeSantis holster, I forget what the model is exactly. I think it's a Super Tuck, something like that. But that's a good holster, and they're like 35 bucks or something like that. So yeah, I carried the Glock 22 for a long time. Just because it's like I found that I can carry a full-size gun pretty well. But yeah, it's not super heavy or anything. Like I carry it cross-draw. And yeah, there's a little upgrade there. A little ATF man. Trying to see what we got over here, boy. They already know probably. But yeah. And I really like the old school look of the Glock Gen 2s. So yeah, it was a cool carry gun. But yeah, I carried that full-size Glock 22 for a long time. And then I've now switched to a, like for probably the past 6 months, like I've been carrying this. Palmetto State Armory Rock 5.7. 23+1 capacity. Clear. But it's a little hard to do stuff on camera. But I found this like super cheap. If you watch one of my videos, I slapped this together on some Palmetto State Armory's like daily deals. And man, I got this thing in under 400 bucks. And yeah, 23+1 capacity, so it's a little bit lighter than the Glock 22. Like, I don't have a scales, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot lighter. Or a little bit lighter, at least. But, yeah, a little bit lighter. Same size, really. And you get a whole lot more rounds. A little less recoil. And this has been a really great carry gun for the past, like, 6 months. Good sights and everything. Like, it's just a nice gun. Some people will really poo-poo this choice right now, but I really like the Houston brand, like these cheap holsters. I've found these at a local gun store, and I've really like fallen in love with the Houston brand. There's really no retention like on these type of holsters, so I wouldn't run and do handstands and stuff. Like, you can run around, but like I wouldn't do like handstands and stuff. Some people don't like these holsters because like like if you're not careful or they get older, they could fold in on you potentially and get snagged in your trigger guard as you're holstering, and you could have an accident, negligent discharge. But as long as you know when to switch these out and you know the limitations of these holsters, like they're not so bad. Like once they start getting really flimsy, like, and showing wear, like replace them. But yeah, it's just like kind of a universal holster, and like I found that it's worked out really well for me until I can eventually decide on what kind of like a Kydex holster I'd like to get for this thing. But as long as you know the limitations of these type of holsters, like, I don't know, I think they're a good choice. And it's like I said, if they get wore out to where they're bending in and you got to worry about it when you're holstering, like, then you just got to know when to replace them. And as far as that, you can also get your shirt, like when you're holstering your gun, you can also get your shirt caught in like Kydex holsters as well, and have a discharge as you're holstering, because your shirt could get in there and get in the trigger guard when you're holstering. Like, I really recommend, if you're like, just practice with what you got, man. That's all I can say. And yeah, that's the full-size guns that I've been rotating for the last, I don't know, couple of years here. Well, 6 months and like almost 3 years, I think, with that. Then I carry a pocket knife all the time. And I've had this one since 2021, Gerber. I forget the model on this thing, but it's like it's kind of a cleaver style. But man, I've used it a lot. I've had to sharpen it many, many times. You can see all the wear and tear on it. I think it looks beautiful. But this is probably one of my favorite folding knives of all time, just because I like that blade profile. And it's just been a really great knife, like an all around like utility knife, opening boxes and everything, man, at jobs and stuff. Like, I've had this for years, like 8 years or more, I think, like since like 2013. So yeah, it's been a long time, like 8 or 9 years, something. SOG Snarl fixed blade. And I haven't carried it for a long time. Man, that thing's crusty. But I carried it for years, and then I stopped carrying it. And now, in the past couple weeks, I've started carrying it again. And sometimes, like, I'll carry a fixed blade knife for like business, you know, like if somebody like attacks me or something, like the fixed blade knife is the weapon. And sometimes I'll carry a like a folding knife for utility reasons. But the reason why I'll carry two knives sometimes, like I said, fighting knife, utility knife, like defensive knife, fork knife. Folding knives, to me, like, it's a last ditch for me, like for defensive use, because I've had a lot of these liner locks here fail over the years. And like, I had one fail on me one time, and the knife folded up, and damn, it cut me to the bone on my finger, man. So yeah, I prefer not to use folding knives for defensive work. Like, I'd rather use a fixed blade knife, so I can, like, I know it's not going to fold up and cut me. But yeah, that's some of the knives I've been carrying. And sometimes I'll carry a backup gun. And it used to be like a North American Arms type little mini revolver. Like, I'd carry it with this clock and carry the North American like all the time. Like, I for years, like working in pawn shops and stuff, I've carried a backup gun. And sometimes it'll be in ankle holster, and this is a Houston brand. Got dog hair and stuff on it, but Houston brand little ankle holster. Cheap, works. Just got no one to replace stuff like that. But then in the past year or so, probably 2 years actually, I've started carrying a Beretta Jetfire 25 ACP. It's like 8+1 capacity, so like 9 rounds. Tip up barrel, but 9 rounds of 25 auto. And I'd carry it cocked, safety on, round in the chamber, magazine. But I usually carry it, if I don't carry it in like the ankle holster, I'd carry it in a pocket holster. And when you, yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Sometimes out in the yard, I'd carry this gun like not in a holster. But I would put it on half cock, safety on, loaded, and just put it in my pocket. But if it's in a pocket holster, which I recommend carrying a pocket holster, like just yard work, I'd carry it like this. Pocket holster, I'd carry it hammer back, safety on, in the holster. And yeah. But I like guns like some people really shit on 25 or 380 but I'd carry this because I like the reliability of center fire ignition on the 25 ACP over something like 22, which is, to me, 22s are very unreliable. Like, just the priming, man. Like, I just don't like them. So, yeah, I'd carry this. Like, 22s to me are fine for fun, and I've carried some 22 pocket guns. But if I carried a 22 pocket gun, I'd carry them with, like, CCI mini mags or CCI stingers, like, some of the best ammo I can get to hopefully negate any kind of, like, failures to ignite. But lately, the past couple months, like, I haven't been carrying these so much, but I've now went to this. A Car CM40 5+1 clear, but 5+1 capacity. A little bit of crust there because I've been carrying it in the Florida heat. And it's a 40 Smith & Wesson, and that's been my carry lately. I do carry it with a little bit of an extended mag. It's a 6+1 capacity extended mag. But I'll carry the flush fit 5-rounder in the gun and a spare 6-round magazine. Same thing with the Glock. Like, I'll carry a spare mag, or with the 5.7 I'd carry a spare mag. Not all the time, but most of the time. And the 25 auto, I've just got that one mag. But yeah, the Car CM40 is a really good gun. The recoil to me on the 40 is not so bad. Trigger pull's really great on the Car. Like, I just really love this gun, man. And like, I carry it in a pocket holster. This pocket holster is now starting to see better days. Like, the rougher stuff on the outside, the coating, it's kind of going away. Like, you still got this band here that helps, like, grab onto the inside of your pocket. But it's starting to see some wear, and it's getting close to retirement. Like, these are only like $10 or $12 or something. Like, so when they start getting wore out, replace it. And I always typically recommend pocket holster because it'll protect the trigger guard. Like, when you're pocket carrying, your gun is going in a dedicated pocket. Don't carry anything else in that pocket to avoid anything getting into the trigger guard somehow. And like, if you try to draw the gun, something's in there, and boom, you shoot yourself, or it goes off, or just whatever, man. Pocket holster. And not only does it protect the trigger guard, but it helps keep the gun oriented in your pocket. So you get a cleaner, more efficient draw, like when you're trying to remove your gun. So that, like, I typically always recommend pocket holster, like if you're gonna pocket carry, just because it's an extra layer of, like, safety, and it keeps the gun oriented. So, like, if you ever pocket carried something like this, like, they'll tilt in your pocket and all kinds of shit. So just carry a pocket holster, man. And when I carry a spare magazine, Houston brand. Like, this is not a sponsored video. I just like their stuff. It's cheap and it works. And you just, when it's time to replace it, replace it. These are like universal magazine pouches. When I carried that 1911, I'd carry spare mag in this. But also, the spare magazine for the Glock 22 fits in there as well. So this keeps the magazine out of your pocket, keeps it on your belt, oriented for a better draw, and just frees up your pocket. But yeah, that I typically, sometimes I carry a spare magazine, sometimes I don't. Like, I typically recommend to carry a spare magazine because the magazine is the heart of the gun. Most of the time, if you have an issue, it's either going to be magazine related or ammunition related. So if you're firing your gun and you had some kind of malfunction, tap, rack, bang, get that round out. If the malfunctions again, like, I would just dump that magazine. I probably wouldn't tap, rack, and bang. I'd probably just dump that mag, go to my fresh spare magazine, and go from there. Because I'd just, like, if it was a heat of the moment situation or whatever, something's popping off, like, I would just, maybe I'd give it a second go, but I probably wouldn't give it a third go. I'd probably just go straight to my next magazine. Like, because something's probably wrong with that other one. But, I don't know. That's what I carry. Like, when I get better holsters or Kydex holsters for this thing, like, that'll be that. But I don't know, this cheap stuff, like, some people shit on the Uncle Mike's, or like, I think these are better than the Uncle Mike's of Houston. But yeah, it's not for everybody, but if you know when to replace that type of shit, and you use a little bit of smarts and brains and don't do handstands and know the limitations of that cheap or inexpensive options, like, I don't see an issue with it. But that's what I carry, and that's why I carry this stuff. And I don't know, if you like the video, please consider subscribing and giving it a like and all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one, boy.